Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. First, I'd like to introduce everyone to who we have here today. Vice President for Student Affairs, Dr. Berenicia Johnson-Eanes, Cal State Fullerton Athletic Director, Jim Donovan, and the 8th men's soccer coach in Cal State Fullerton history, George Kuntz. And at this point, I'd like to welcome Dr. Eanes for opening comments.
Good afternoon. This is an exciting afternoon for us at Titan Athletics at Cal State Fullerton. On behalf of President Garcia, the faculty, the staff, and this community who believes in Titan Athletics, we could not be happier to have a formal announcement of a new member of our family. It takes a team to be a good team, and we are continuing to do that. On behalf of Cal State Fullerton, we are so happy with all of the work of our athletic director, Jim Donovan, who's been with us for a year and is doing fantastic things. Jim, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you very much. I have notes here because I want to make sure I get everything covered. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the men's soccer team, Adam Reeves. How about a big hand for them? I'm glad you guys are here. I'd like to thank President Garcia and Vice President Eanes. They have been so supportive of Titan Athletics and the time that they've been here, helping make a day like today possible. I woke up this morning, I was able to talk to George. It's just an absolutely beautiful day for the middle of December. And when you've been in athletics for as many years as I have, you always look for signs. And I take this as a very, very positive sign. I'd also like to thank the search committee. Rob Sheldon, our chair, Tananzin Osagura, the Dean of Students, Dr. Michael Perez, our faculty athletic representative, and Larry Rivera, who works for us on the sidelines for about the last 8 years for men's and women's soccer. How about a big hand for the search committee for doing such a great job? And I'd also like to take the time to thank Steve DeTola, our Senior Associate AD, and his staff for setting this up today and getting everything done on quick notice. We didn't really get this finished until Saturday afternoon between George and myself, and we worked most of yesterday and today. So Steve and your staff, thank you very much. So, you know, I've actually, this is the second time I've interviewed George. I interviewed him in another situation. And as I've gotten to know him through these processes, I can tell you he's a very good man, very, very good family man. Comes from a great family, you know, got to know some of the stories about his family, which he may share some of them with you today. He's been head coach at UCI for 19 years. He's had tremendous success, nationally recognized for his success. What I focus in on is his last 6 years. He was 80, 37, and 14. He had 4 NCAA tournament appearances in those last 6 years, with a Sweet 16 appearance this year, I believe. 10 times he's been named Coach of the Year by different organizations. I think a very important factor is he's had about 80 players be all-conference and over 100 be scholar athletes, which is what it's all about, because we say student athlete because student comes first. We want to do well. We want to do well in the soccer field, but it's very important to us that they graduate and do well in school and get that degree. I did have a chance to talk to him yesterday about what I call the golden ring moment. It's when something happens in your life or in an organization's history that really, it's a rare, rare opportunity. It only happens a few times in your life and maybe a few times in an organization. And I believe this is a golden ring moment for both George and for us, for Titan men's soccer and Titan athletics. I can't tell you how happy I am that George is sitting here to be our next head men's coach. We're looking for more beautiful days ahead, more amazing days, and more amazing moments on this soccer field. And we're like-minded. We're already thinking about how do we bring the national championship home to Cal State Fullerton. The next head coach for Titan men's soccer, George Kuntz.
Well, that's quite an introduction. First of all, I want to thank everybody here. Jim Donovan has been tremendous in this process. Very patient, I might add. Very patient, as you can understand. A very difficult decision, but a decision that I felt was right. Vice President Eanes, so thankful that you're here and your kind message yesterday. There's so many people to thank: the committee, the selection committee, for going through the process with me and listening to my stories. I'm quite a storyteller. Could be a little bit lengthy at times. Try to keep this brief. I look at this stadium, and I remember coming to the stadium the first time, and just tell you one brief story. When I was 10 years old, I'm going to give away my age right now. When I was 10 years old, my father's born and raised in Mexico City, and he drove us from Phoenix, Arizona to Mexico City. It took us about 5 days. I don't know if you're allowed to do that right now in a camper. And he took us to a soccer game, the final in 1970 between Brazil and Italy. It was a 4-1 game. Brazil won. It was a big game. And before that, I wanted to be Roman Gabriel, the quarterback of the Rams. That's who I wanted to be. After that game, I wanted to be Pelé. So my room changed. The walls of the room changed from Roman Gabriel, the posters, to Pelé. And, of course, there was 2 other players, Hugo Sanchez and Leo Cuellar, who I was a midfielder, so I wanted to be kind of like those guys too. And it changed my life. It changed my life. So since then, I arrive here at the stadium and I look at the possibilities here. I've coached in here many times, some good times and some tough times. But I see this as a gem, and I'm very thankful to the committee. I'm very thankful to the guys that are here. I'll talk more about that in a minute. I also want to take a moment to thank UC Irvine, Mike Izzy, Paul Hope, who I reported to, the chancellor, all the administration, my staff, Mike Ditta, Coach Mike Ditta's here, Chris Volk, Carlos Aguilar, everybody that helped us put that program at that time on the map. It couldn't have been done without a lot of people, and that's why it takes a team. And I see a lot of great coaches here that I idol, I see them as idols. It takes a team, and those people at UC Irvine, well, the administration, everybody there was very supportive, and allowed us to win championships, create a championship mentality from day one. And it took a while, but we did it, and it can be done anywhere. That's the game plan. It's always to create a championship mentality. One thing I guarantee you is that mentality will be here. The last month is a little bit of a whirlwind. Yesterday I was watching on TV the championship game, Maryland versus Notre Dame. And a couple weeks ago we were actually in Maryland, and I saw players, as I've seen, you only see it only when one team wins a national championship, fall to the ground, and you're picking them up after a game. And I said to myself after that game, I want at least once, if not many times over, I want to be making snow angels on the ground after that last game. And when this opportunity presented itself, thanks to Jim Donovan and the entire selection committee, I had to grasp that golden opportunity. I thought it was a golden moment, and I see, having competed against these guys this year, I know what the potential is. It's just inches. Everything is just inches. Small details. Anything can happen. My vision is that we're competing for championships every year, and that's the way I am. That's my fabric, and that's the only way it is. And I'm lucky to be involved with a number of coaches here that I see as like-minded, and an organization, a university that way. So my goal is that in this vision, nosotros vamos a jugar fútbol excitante y bonita, as my father would say, which means we're going to play excellent soccer and beautiful soccer. And you look forward to that. That's going to be fun for the community to see. Once again, I'm excited about being here, and I'm very, very grateful to the university and all the people that were involved in this. And I look forward to a a great run and a championship mentality, many championships. I want to thank Jim again, Vice President Ames, all the coaches that are here, the student athletes. I want to thank all the student athletes at UC Irvine for this. There's no way this opportunity occurs. And they'll always have places in my heart. Thank you once again. It's open to some questions.
Well, you've obviously had success with those other people on the other side of the county. It's a little unusual for a coach to make a move within the same conference. So what's the potential that you see here that would make you want to make such a move?
It surrounds you. You're sitting in it. This is a gem. I've been to most of the biggest soccer stadiums in the United States for collegiate athletics. And you're looking at them, the student athletes. These guys, they're so close. They're so close, and they know that. The opportunity for them to be nationally recognized every year is here right now. It's that close. And I think what you see around you, everybody else in the country knows. Right now they're saying, oh no, oh no. That's what's happening. And I've seen that for years. This is very difficult to replicate, this environment.
With 26 years of experience as a head coach, what do you plan on bringing to this program?
My experience is through failure. I've had so many experiences I can't even start to explain. But I will tell you this. The style that we play and the way these guys are prepared will be to compete every moment of every single game until the final whistle. And we're flying out of bounds for balls, even if the whistle, no matter what the score is, even if the whistle hasn't blown or has blown. Because everybody that comes and sits in those stands are paying to be here or supporting to be here. And if I'm bringing my kids to a game and I see guys walking around, I don't want to come back. So I guarantee you the brand that I bring will be different than you've seen in a long, long time. Not to take away from what's been done. But I remember teams back then. I remember Coach D from a long time ago. I had the opportunity to coach him in ODP, and he was about that big at that time. And I watched him play here. You see that wall over there? We had to look at that wall every time we walked in that stadium. It was pretty intimidating. And I saw those teams, and I had to compete against those teams. That's coming back. That's coming back. Take it easy on me.
I've heard you say it a couple of times that these guys are so close. What are some of your immediate goals?
I think the winning mentality. I mean, I think it's very easy. I think they do have a winning mentality, but it's very easy to have doubt. You can never have doubt, no matter what. You can never have doubt. You can never look back, and that's a big part of athletics. Confidence. It's not about the talent, because if you look around the conference, there's so many good teams. You look around the country, there's many good coaches, and for every applicant, for every school, there's 200, 300 applicants. But why is one school beating all these other schools? The difference is between the years. There's a guy back there, he's hiding, Jim Madrid, very close friend of mine, who's been kind of one of my coaches and mentors, has helped me with that. And the mentality of sports is key when you're going into big games, tournament games, conference games, games you need to win, must win to get to the championship. So that mentality, Coach, is, I think, what we bring to the table, and I think that's the big thing. And then understanding how we want to play. You know, you have to be organized, as you know. You have to be very tight at the back, and you have to be exciting and very charismatic up top. And being a midfielder, I used to be, not anymore, guys, but I used to love the flair, and I think that's what we're going to bring. The brick and mortar and the flair, because that's what everybody wants to see. You need the brick and mortar in the back, but you have to have the flair. You have to have the exciting style of play. I think that's what we bring. Just look at some of the players that have come from our ranks, you know, and I think that that's going to happen here. You have it. I had to coach against it. So now we're all on the same team.
Welcome to the Titan family, Coach.
Thank you.
With so many ties in Southern California and so many years of experience at the Division I level, talk about some of your mentors. You touched on one, but you got mentors and colleagues that you still learn from and have learned from in the past. Touch on that a little bit. So many. You know, I had the opportunity. A gentleman who was at our school a couple weeks ago, we played North Carolina, and Jürgen Klingsman has been a very, very huge mentor of mine. He's, you know, lives down the street from the university, and we spent many coffees together talking about the game. I would have to say Coach Ziggy Schmidt, who I had the opportunity to learn from quite a few times. I had the opportunity to coach his son. He's now an assistant coach at UC Riverside, but he played on our teams. So many times I shared conversation with Coach Ziggy Schmidt. I have a high respect for what he's done as a coach, obviously down the road, some other school down there, and with the Seattle Sounders and Columbus Crew, and he's one of the mentors. And Steve Sampson, who I worked with at Cal. I was just on the street here as the director of coaching for the California Youth Soccer Association for 10 years, and that we had about 150,000. We still do 170,000 kids and about 40,000 players. And Steve we brought in as a technical director, and I had known him for many years when I coached the women at Pepperdine, and he's been a friend, a very close confidant. Those are some of my mentors. The biggest mentor for me is my father, who played professionally in Mexico City for Atlante, played in the Guadalajara youth teams. He was the captain of all the youth teams, and one of the first A-licensed coaches in this country. He's a doctor. I mean, I can't hold that much to what my father's done. So, in fact, I talked to him on the way in here, and he's the one that gave me that sentence to provide to you on the way in here. So he still is mentoring me and teaching me.
Coach, congratulations again. What are some of the things that you would like your team to be known for? Exciting
brand of play. Tell you what, it's going to be quick. It's going to be skillful. It's going to be possession oriented. But the thing is, when you win, the college game is like a tournament. You know, the college season is like a tournament. Unfortunately, we don't have 40 games. We have about 20 games. So hopefully a lot more than that, but we have about 20 games in a season. So in those games, it's about results, and it's about how do you get results. And you have to teach teams how to win those types of games. So sometimes it's going to be very pretty, and other times it's going to be very effective. So you're going to see a fast style of play, a style of play that's going to put immense pressure on opponents and force them to make mistakes and deal with us. But a really nice style in that I grew up with a possession style of game. But that itself doesn't only win games. My favorite team in the world, Barcelona. Sorry, Jim. Jim has I know he has the Real Madrid. It's a long story. But Barcelona, I mean, everybody wants to play that way, but how many times you have players like that in this country on a professional team even? So the goal is to have that type of style, but effective style for college soccer and understanding the college season. It's a tournament.
Do you have any more questions? Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day. Thank you.